Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. Hope y'all have a big old cup of coffee. Welcome back to Coffee with Kem Hills. We have ours, as always. Can't live without it.
Yes, especially this morning. I feel like it's been a slow start.
How was your morning? What happened? What you been doing?
Well, I had somebody wake me up at 4 a.m.
A little somebody?
A little somebody. Because they couldn't sleep.
They're a cute little somebody, I have to say.
Not at 4 a.m. Nobody's that cute at 4 a.m.
Easy for me to say.
So, yeah, tried all the tactics to get her back to sleep, and she could not go back to sleep.
No,
and then, so I was up, and she finally fell back asleep from 6:30, starting at 6:30, but, I was just up.
Yeah.
It's like, well,
like, okay.
I'm awake and I'm not going back to sleep, so this is fun.
It is harder, I feel like, for adults, for us, you know what I mean? It's like, that whole, nap when they're napping. I'm like,
oh, how?
That's when I get stuff done. Don't people have things to do?
Yeah.
If I had nothing to do, sure, maybe I'll try, but, it's just... When that kid naps, it's like go time.
Right.
You know
what
I mean?
This is the time I get to be productive and get stuff done.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or, watch that reality TV show that you need to catch up on. Some me time. I know.
Exactly.
You gotta take that time for yourself, I'm telling you right now. I was just, as I mentioned yesterday, I was talking to my sister who just had a baby.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my gosh, if you can, because I remember that feeling of being like, I don't recognize anything in my life. I don't recognize myself. I was like, if you, and for my sister, she's such a nerd. No, you know what? But nerd is a cool word, by the way, now. So I could say that.
She's a very smart lady.
She's a very smart lady, but she loves video games, like the Switch. She loves playing her Switch, her little farm game. It's, I don't know. It's
all right.
It's really cute, little farm animals. I don't even remember what it's called. I know there'll be people out there that are like, ow! I'm like, but I was saying, if you just find those moments, play your little farm game on your Switch and just kind of come back to yourself.
Yeah.
It could be where am I?
Yes. Definitely that newborn stage is definitely a haze.
Yes. It's rough. It's almost I don't know how healthy this is for me, seeing her go through it, as I'm in my 3rd trimester now, but, maybe it's good. Maybe I'm, mentally preparing and I'll be, ready, game time. Game time. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But no one is ready for the financial responsibilities that we have to take on when it comes to delivering a child and how expensive it is in the U.S.
Yeah, an article from Forbes laid it all out for us. It costs nearly $20,000 to have a baby in the U.S.
Yeah.
So this number was from a study by the Kaiser Foundation that looked at the costs of births for the past 3 years. And it only looked at births with mothers who had health insurance through their employer.
Right.
So as we know, depending on your health insurance, it depends on the cost of the birth.
Yeah, it varies drastically.
And if you don't have health insurance, it also varies. Now, we do have the new law that went into place, so we will know a little bit more clarity as to how much things cost. And I think that this number might be interesting to look at maybe even in 6 months down the line.
The transparency of what's in network versus what's out of network, right?
Yeah.
We like this.
We do like this. And how much it's going to cost you out of pocket and how much it actually costs to do all the medical procedures. So, but really interesting and kind of a scary statistic.
Yeah, it is a scary statistic. And actually, to add fuel to the fire, they tacked on top of the high cost of delivering a child, according to the USDA data, it will cost $286,000 to raise a child in a family of 2 middle-class income adults.
Yes.
That's a lot of money, right? So, I mean, becoming a parent is an expensive commitment in general. But the fact that, this just very natural process of, of having a baby can really have a serious effect on your savings, your, there's, It's major, and it's important to note that like these high costs disproportionately burden poorer women and communities of color, especially with the repeal of Roe versus Wade. So of course there's like more pressure now on families and pregnancies and all of that. It's just it's scary because these costs are hefty no matter how you look at it for anyone, really.
Yeah. I think it's interesting because they do talk about the cost, the out-of-pocket cost, right? So your insurance, it's over $26,000 if you have a C-section was the average that they came up with, and the average for a vaginal delivery was $15,000 on, again, average.
Right.
But you're also paying money out of pocket. C-sections, you're paying a little bit over $3,000, $3,200 out of pocket just to have the baby, versus $2.6 if you had it vaginally.
And there's hospital fees.
And there's hospital fees.
Co-pays and co-insurance and oh my gosh.
And it doesn't take into account like anything with healing after the birth, or if you're taking
postnatal care.
Yeah. Or any prenatal vitamins, or a lot of prenatal care or fertility treatments. Like there's a lot of money that goes into just having a baby. And to your point, with the cost of maternal care disproportionately affecting, minority communities, it's really scary because this is for a lot of people who have health insurance, and maybe you might not have health insurance. You might not have a job where you have health insurance. Like it's going to affect people in lower income way more.
And quality of care and, everything like that to consider. I mean,
we already know that maternal health care is very biased, and that Black women die a lot more through childbirth than any other race, which is so sad and so scary.
I mean, to have a comfortable, birthing experience, you need to pay for that. Yeah. You really do. I mean, the whole idea of, and I know how much, I didn't have a doula, but I know how much they impact someone's, I think, safety, and they help facilitate, a safe, healthy, like emotionally healthy birthing experience. And I know it's very expensive. Right. I mean, that's if you have the extra spending cash to do that. Right. Or if you choose to go through midwives versus hospital, or if you want a combination, like there's all of these really great options to make a better, safer birthing experience that just aren't available to people. And that's a problem, I think. I know that my sister, had the privilege of being able to have a doula, and I honestly think it saved her from potentially having to get a C-section, because they just have this wealth of knowledge that a lot of people, and some do, but a lot of people in hospital, they just don't take the time to sort of nurture you through the process of delivering. It's more a time thing. Yeah. Oftentimes it can be. Not to say everyone is like that, but
totally. And I think having a doula there is somebody who has more knowledge of what's going on, who is an advocate for the mother.
And your birth plan.
And your birth plan, who doesn't, because especially when you're going through it, you're like, I don't want to make these decisions.
Yeah.
I remember
you're in the good headspace.
I found my paperwork that they make you sign about all the medications and life-saving things that all the hospital stuff you have to sign when you get there on yes, I'm going to have this baby and the hospital is not liable, blah, 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 whatever.
Sure.
And my signature on these things, is so illegible. I'm like, really? You make us sign this when we're in labor and going through a contraction? I just, how is this legally binding? I would have signed away my baby at that point. I'm not reading that paper.
I know. It's true. Yeah, so things like that, you know what I mean? They just, it really does. It's just, they know, the ins and outs of what's going on with your body, with the system, with everything. Yeah. And I just feel like I wish that was part of, what's offered to us, when we're going through something that is so
personal and also can be very traumatic.
Oh my God. Yeah. It's trauma. But then we talked about this before. It's you forget about it too afterwards. And you're like, oh, I'll have another one. Hence
Right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, well, we're going to take a quick commercial break, but we will be right back with more hot topics. Welcome back, everyone. Okay, we are bringing things up to a lighter note.
Yeah.
This is
But still talking about kids.
Still talking about kids, but this is like, I love this. I read this and I was like, this is so cool. I've not heard of this. What a great idea. Okay, this is from Business. Philly's By the Hood summer camp teaches children about finances, budgeting, and real estate investing.
Yeah.
What?
This article was from the Philadelphia Inquirer, which was really exciting. Like, it definitely touched my little heart because it's, you know, where I live.
Yes.
So a little bit of a local story for us, but the cool thing is that this summer camp is actually virtual. So anybody in any kid can go to it.
Right.
Which is really cool.
Yeah, that is really cool. So, By the Hood business started as a way to teach adults about finances, and they found that they did not know the basic concepts like credit and property ownership. So the issue started way before we became adults, right? Because then it's like too late. It's like you're scrambling to learn all of these things. So they obviously were like, wait a second.
Yeah, there's a statistic out there that if most people learn their money habits by age 7.
Oh, I gotta get started.
So, yeah, I mean, it's just a really interesting statistic that's out there. So starting your kids off early, but, you know, By the Hood started, to your point, to teach adults all these things because they realized, especially in their community, the Black community in Philadelphia, that a lot of people did not know anything, like weren't financially literate. And this was in 2015. I think the good news is that things have changed a little bit more because there's all the people talking about it online and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But By the Hood, I think one of the really cool things about their organization is that they actually really talk about, you know, not only like financial literacy and investing, but also talking about ownership and like really taking, you know, buying property or buying businesses, like to be an owner, which I think...
Yeah, empowering like these children to like really like take the bull by the horns, right? Like, and just and you know, become like the boss, you know, like that there's these amazing opportunities for them out there. And I think like, you know, planting that seed is so powerful at that age. Yeah. And they're going to feel inspired to do it if they have like the tools of knowledge, because oftentimes it's just easier to kind of fall into the system. Yeah. And because we just don't know. Right. But, you know, if it's just second nature to them, their understanding, I mean, I think this whole thing is brilliant. I'm like, my kids, this is the camp you're going to. 5 and up every Saturday for 6 Saturdays, and it's virtual, which I think is so great. Yeah, and it's, I mean, it's on Saturdays, I noticed, because like I think of summer camp or whatever, like you're gone all week or whatever, which is a nice break for the parents, but that just seems like a very sort of easy commitment as well, right? On Saturdays, you just... Well, and I think it's nice too, because then you can send your kid to summer camp, like where they're doing, you know, outdoor activities or whatever, or, you know, maybe they're at an after, you know, school program that's happening during the week, whatever the case may be. But then they can still have this enrichment program on Saturday mornings, where maybe the parents get some time because the kids are learning in front of the computer. Totally, you know, that's kind of nice too. That's a good point. Like they can still go to summer camp, do the blob. Do you know the blob? Yes, it took a second, but yes, I remember the blob. If you don't know, it's a big blob. It's a big blob in the water, and you jump on it. It's probably not safe. I don't know. Yeah, definitely bit my tongue way too many times. Yeah, I feel like it kind of abuses you a little bit, but like I wonder if they still do that. I don't know. Much safer learning finances at home. Much safer. Exactly. But I think it's really cool. They talk through in the article about some of the kids who have taken the course and what they've gotten out of it. Yeah. And just also how the founders really tailor the information
in the concepts to children. So
to make
they
it
talk,
digestible
to make it
their minds.
Exactly. Like, so Disney World, they talk about real estate for Disney World and like really different like things where
so clever.
It's really clever.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
And how much that would spark conversations in the house afterwards. I think it would be really interesting to like have your child go to this camp and then like see what they ask you and talk to you about afterwards. And you'd be like, oh, interesting. And how much they're learning that you don't know about. That would be the funny thing as well.
Exactly.
You're like, can you explain that to me, please?
And they talk about too how, you know, some of the concepts might be over the realm of like,
sure.
For like, you know, if you're sending a 5-year-old, they're not necessarily going to understand what compound interest is at that moment.
Right.
But the hope is like, it's back there in the back of their minds, and they'll be able to
familiarizing them with terms, right?
Exactly.
And they'll be like, okay, I've heard of this before. I have a general idea.
Right.
Oh, now it's solidified.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, it's a really great business, and I'm definitely gonna like pay attention to it as my kids get older. Yeah. Hopefully, like the idea will expand, and it's gonna branch off, and there's gonna be more. I know that they've created more as well, right?
Yes, they're working on it. I also think that, you know, honestly too, like this should be a part of the school curriculum.
Yes. I mean, this should be mandatory in schools for sure.
And maybe it is something where it's like Friday mornings, you like have this financial summer camp, and then, well, not summer camp because it's not summer, but you know, like a financial Fridays where in the morning time they're learning about this, which is super applicable.
Well, it's like, yeah, you would I feel like you would have that in school with like art or something, or reading or whatever it is, but you have something that's financial based on like every Thursday or Friday or whatever.
Right.
Where it's just that, even if it's not, you know, an everyday thing like your social studies or whatever it is when you're in elementary school. But it should start in elementary school and continue throughout the course of your education. You're advocates for this. And I know it's becoming more and more, you know, popular. And hopefully by the time our kids are older, they're going to be like financial wizards.
Yes.
I mean, yours will probably be regardless because of what your husband does for a living. Like, she's going to get all the information.
Probably.
Financial advisor husband. Come on.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break, but we will be right back to tell you about the shows airing today on ROI TV. Welcome back, everyone. I just wanted to remind you not to miss today's episodes of Options Crash Course, Elder Talk, and Browns in Suits. You can check them all out on ROI TV. Where exactly?
You can check us out live on Distro TV or on your Roku, Amazon Fire TV, or Apple TV, or on your Apple or Android device.
Yay! Thank you so much for joining us on another week of Coffee with Kem Hills. We will see you next week with more hot topics.
And hot coffee. Or iced.
Or iced.